What's up guys, welcome to this new video. In this video I'm going to go over my personal skate settings for realism, and I also want to do a deep dive to show you what you can adjust in the game to get the most realistic gameplay as well. In addition to that, I'm also going to go over some advanced tips and tricks, for example on how you can add stees to your tricks, like doing shifties in your flip tricks, and also how you can perform better volleys and master the no-complies. Okay, so starting out, we do start with the general tab. In here you have all of the interface options. I usually have all of that turned off because I like to have this more neutral, clean looking screen where you don't have too much buttons and too much stuff from the interface around. And I do tend to keep these off always, but I just want to show you what everything here is for. So you do have the name tags. You can see what the skaters that are skating around San Van have for a name tag. So this is what you can put on. You have the scoring ticker, the directional buttons on the HUD, and you do have the flick it visualizer. So when this all is enabled, you directly see when you are off board the stuff in the left corner. You do have the tap and hold button for your session marker. So you can hold it for setting a session marker and then tap it to get back. Then you do have all the other options. You can quick drop and add your objects and so on. You can open the menu here as well when you hold down, and this is it. When you get on board, you directly see the flick it visualizer. You can see what kind of stick input you will have when you are doing your tricks. I recommend this for beginners to kind of get used to the game, but I also usually disable that because it's just too much buttons and everything around your screen. Down on the left you do have your line score and also your trick history, what kind of tricks you did. And on the top you also do have the info about the location, so it's like showing you where you are on the map. And I would like to disable that as well, but Skate doesn't have this option yet. And I really hope that they bring that feature into the game soon, because it will give you the last final button to disable on your screen. Besides that, you will then have a full clean screen where you can also better record your clips. But yeah, this is all personal preference, so if you want to have that enabled, you can just put them on. I usually have all of these off. And then you also do have like the quality of life settings around here. You can in the world turn off the pedestrians, the traffic, and then also like crossplay settings, the social settings here with the teleport options and all kind of that stuff. When players are in game, that you can teleport to them. And all of this stuff, you can turn it on or turn it off however you want to. I usually intend also to have the pedestrians and traffic off, only in some kind of situations where I like how it looks when you, for example, film a line or anything. I like to have that on. But besides that, it's just sometimes a pain to always have to deal with the people walking around at the spot and so on. And yeah, it's just personal preference. As said, if you intend to have that on, you can enable it. If not, you can disable that. Next up is the gameplay tab, and here the magic happens. So when you get inside, you directly see the control presets. You have 3 different options to play, and I usually recommend to play with experience because it just lets you customize the most. It's like the classic skate control, but you can make a bunch of adjustments to really get your playing style going. And besides that, you do have classic and streamlined. Classic is like the normal skate control from skate 1, 2 and 3, and streamlined is a more beginner friendly version that lets you flick more easily, and it's just like a beginner friendly setting. So when you get on board, it also zooms out slightly, it's what I've noticed, and instead of going in the squat position to do your tricks, you can just flick up, flick to the left, flick to the right to make your tricks very easily. You can just do them simple. And overall, this is a setting that when you are completely new to skate, I could recommend to use this to get a feeling of what the game is like. But once you want to go into the realism settings and start to find your own playing style with a customizable look and everything else, I would recommend to enable the experience and then also adjust the next settings that we are going to go through. Next up is preferences, and this is also totally up to you. I skate Goofy in real life, so I have Goofy enabled for my skater here as well. It means you push with your left foot and have your left foot at the back. If you want to choose regular, you do have your right foot in the back and you push with your right foot. Coming to the flick it sensitivity, in here you can adjust how your movement of your sticks adjusts to the pop heat and the trick flip speed. When you have that on 100, it's much more sensitive and you usually do like these high tricks, the high pop flips and so on. When you do have that on 0 or on 50 as I do, it's just a bit more easy to do these low pop tricks and they just look cleaner in my opinion. Of course, it's also a preference that's completely up to you, and you can also with this setting still do these high tricks if you flick it very fast and so on, but you can just more easily get these slow, cool looking tricks done. Then we do have the forward to push. This is also something that I personally have disabled because I just not use it. If you want to use it, you can. You can just also have the input that when you put your left stick forward, that it's also going to give you a push. Then we do have the forward to pump and back to brake. This is something that I also have usually disabled because I just not use it. The forward to pump is a great one if you play a lot of transition. So you can also switch the LT and RT or L2 and R2 sticks to get the pump also when you forward. So this also allows you to get faster while skating transition. Back to brake is also usually disabled because I just use circle or B to brake. Before we go over the hold fakie stance setting, I want to go over the rest that we do have on our controls tab. So in here I only swapped the square and X button on my PS5 controller because I like to have it enabled as in session. I don't know if you played that game, but in there you always have one foot on one button, and this is the playstyle that I'm aiming for because it just gives a bit more of a realistic vibe in my opinion. So to show you what I mean, I do push with my square button and it's the left foot. If I switch the stance and I push the square button, I also still have the left foot, and in this stance it would then be a Mongo push. If I use my X button, it would be the right foot. If I switch the stance, I will again have the right foot. And there are some tricks in the game where you do have to Mongo push. A no comply, for example, I would push X and then do a ollie and then I would do the no comply, but I'm going to go over that later on in this video as well. Coming to the hold fakie stance, this is one of the most important settings in the entire game because it adds a bunch of realistic aspects to the game, and this is how real skaters skate, you know? When you do have that disabled and you are on board and for example you do a frontside flip, it will automatically push you in the other stance. So I skate goofy, it directly put me into regular. If you have this setting enabled and you do the same, I'm going to show you exactly what it does. So when you have that enabled and you do a flip trick, you will stay in the fakie stance and you will not automatically switch, which allows you to play in fakie. So if you would then do a normal 360 flip as an example, you do a fakie one. And if you do a nollie flip, you would do a switch flip. This adds a bunch of realism to the game because you have like this whole new style that you can play. You can do your switch tricks. You would have to do a movement of a nose slide then, because it will be like the movement you would do when you jump onto a rail and you do it like with your nose. You would do the exact same movement and you would then switch to a back tap. It could be that you absolutely don't like to have this option enabled because it just is a lot harder, but in this case it's like the true switch, you know? You do have this true switch playstyle where you do like a nollie flip and you do a switch flip. It's the exact same input that you would do to your right stick, and for example you do this nollie frontside flip, you do a switch backside flip with the absolute same motion. And this is true switch in skate. This is what it's called from the realism kind of guys, and it adds a bunch of realism to the game in my opinion. And if you want to play as realistic as possible, I would definitely enable this setting. Next up we do have the assist tab, and in here you can just assign your assist amounts. So first of all we do have the grind assist amount, and to have it as realistic as possible you could either have it on 0, 5 or 10. On 0 it's a bit weird in my opinion because sometimes even though if you pop right and you have a good angle onto a rail, a ledge or whatever, you still not make it, and it's a bit weird because sometimes you even jump away from it. So in my opinion 5 works the best, and I will quickly show you how it's going to look like. So if you pop from, let's here for example, we are not directly popping onto the rail, you know. So like this, because of the backslip we got on right now, but it's much harder to go onto the rail, and you really have to practice the right angles to get onto the rails, but it's making the game much more realistic that way. Then vert pump assist I have on 0, because if I want to gain speed while skating transition, I like to just pump myself. It's also a personal preference, so you can also vary this assist here however you want. Allowed fall heat I have on 2, because I like to do some high gaps as well, sometimes here and then. Then the friendlier wipeout thresholds I have off. The minimum pop heat amount is on 0, because I like to have the pop heat controlled with my right stick. If I flick it fast, I will do a higher pop that way. Then for the onboard helpers, I do have my flip tricks catch assist off, because I don't want to catch all the tricks before I land. If I bail, I bail. I want to have it as realistic as possible. Besides that, I not really have changed much, so you can just copy these settings right here. I will quickly go through them. Coming to the trick toggles, I do have held flip tricks on. This allows you basically to double flip, and when you flick your stick and you hold the position at the end, the flick up, you can do the double flips, triple flips and whatever. So you can just hold the stick and you continuously flip your board like this. Late flips basically allow you to do late flip tricks. So for example, you do a nollie and you do a kick flip in air again. You can do these late trick animations, and you can also mix them up in your skating way as you like. This is just a setting that allows you to do so. Besides that, I have the slappies on. Slappies is also a pretty cool feature that they have added. When you skate near a curve and you just, with your left stick, aim towards the curve, so right into it, you will automatically do a slappy. And for example, you do then a crooked, aim to the side, you do a crooked grind, and so on. Then you do have the firecracker setting. When you have it on and you write down a stair with a manual, you will automatically do a firecracker. Then we do have wallies, and this is also a pretty cool feature that they have in Skate. When you have it enabled, you can basically do wallies off of, literally everything. So for example, this trash can, you ride into it, you do a ollie at the right timing, and you will do a wally off of it. I want to dive into that a bit later, more detailed. Then for the wallies, I do have this setting enabled, so every time you want to do a wally, you have to ollie in the right time before hitting the object. And it's just, in my opinion, makes more sense to have that enabled, but if you want to have that off, you can of course turn it off. Then we do have when on wallies require a quick ollie if it's off, so when you put that on, you would have to do a quick ollie, so press the ollie motion on the right stick very fast. 1 foot ollies is also something that I have enabled. Basically, when you do a ollie and then just press the button for your right or your left foot, you do these 1 foot ollies in the air. Then coming to no comply, this is also something that I want to dive in more detailed later together with the wallies. But if you have that on, you can just Mongo push and do a ollie and you will do a no comply. You can also do this with a 360 motion. So Mongo push and you just spin the left stick, and you could do this as a 360 motion as well. Coming to the advanced section of trick toggles, you do have the option to enable quick ollies. So when you pull the right stick down and quickly let it go, you do a quick ollie. I have that enabled, and besides that I do have the sideways ollie control on, the pre-wind spins on. The pre-wind control style I do have hold in spin direction, so this will just help you to spin faster in the same direction when you steer left or right. So when you drive on your board and you, for example, want to turn, you can like this and it will spin a bit more faster than it would do if you just ollie and then move to the left side. Then you can also enable roll-ins. This means if you drop into a quarter pipe, into a bowl or whatever, you will just do a straight roll-in. I'm going to quickly show you how that looks like. When you have the roll-in feature enabled and you want to drive into a quarter pipe, you can just ride into it in the right angle and you will get this roll-in animation. Coming to my camera settings, if you do like how my camera style looks like, here are my settings, you can just copy them. I do have 5.5 horizontal and vertical follow strength, 65 field of view, maintain camera distance is on, onboard camera offset is 4, camera framing is low. This is how it looks like in game, and you can basically adjust it how you want. So I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of what everything does. So the horizontal follow strength is literally how the camera follows around if you move. So basically you could think about a skater driving behind you, filming you, and adjusting this makes it rather more slow or more hard of the adjustment. So when I move to the left, it's not perfectly synced with the movement because I like if it's a bit slower, but I also don't like if it's too slow. You could, for example, turn that completely to 0 and then it would look like following. You know what I mean? When I then drive to the left, it takes a bit longer to adjust the field of view again, that the skater is like directly behind you, you know what I mean? So this is also personal preference. If you want to adjust something here, you can definitely do that. It's completely up to you how you design your camera. But besides that, I do have the off-board camera as following as well. I'm going to quickly go through that. So if you want to, you can copy that as well. But I would definitely adjust that to your personal preference. Then the advanced camera settings I have set up as following. I'm going to quickly go through all of that. If you want, you can copy that as well, but I would definitely adjust it to your personal preference. What I can just really recommend is to put on the switch side controls, because this also makes a bunch of sense that when you skate and for example you do a trick that puts you in the fakie switch stance, you can just press in your left stick and you switch the side and your skater is again in focus with his front side. Same if you do a flip trick back, you can just press it again to go back to normal. Then as far as it goes to the rest, graphics I have set up to 50 brightness, medium depth of field, motion blur quality is high. Then for audio I have the main volume on 100, as sound effect volume on 100 as well. The music volume is off because I intend to stream, and when I stream I don't want to have any copyright music in my streams. So the VO volume is the voice-over volume. Some skaters tend to speak in the game or make some kind of speeches from the NPCs and all stuff like that, so I have that off as well. Then the V comments, I'm so happy that you can turn it off because V always speaks with you and I don't want to have these sound effects in my clips. And then the streamer mode is not necessary when I have the music off. Besides that, in terms of accessibility, this is also completely to you. Coming to the end of the video, guys, I also wanted to go over some small tricks and tips to help you get more steez in the game besides all of the settings. First of all, I want to go over the no complies because a bunch of people messaged me about it, that they have some problems with it, that they can't get it done. So what I like to do is I press the Mongo push button, in my case it's X, and then I wait a millisecond and I do the no comply. When I wait a little bit, just really a millisecond, it always works out. And you just have to get the timing right. Once you figure it out one time or a few times and you did it, it usually, just sticks and you can always do it. So when you want to do a backside no comply, you just have to hold your left stick to the left, in my case because I ride goofy, and then just do the no comply. I also didn't get it right now. Millisecond wait, and then you can do the no comply. You just have to figure out how much of you pull the stick to the left side, because sometimes it directly does a 360. So if you hold it to the left side and then you do the no comply, you usually do a 360 if you keep holding the stick. But if you directly, when you pop, let go of the stick, you do a normal 180 no comply. Sadly, it's not possible to do normal no complies yet, as you always normally do a normal 180. But if you do the normal 180 and then pull the left stick to the left in the same time, you will normally get it done with a small shifty like this. When it comes to wallies, you have multiple ways to do them. You can either use the wall, for example, to get onto grinds, slides or manuals. So you would ride up to them almost straight. And if you want to jump over the wall or sideways off of it, I would drive onto the wall facing them almost with your back. So you really have to be slightly sideways. I would say almost like in this angle. And you can just face the wall on the corner and then just do the volley and you will pop over the object. When it comes to the steez in skate, there are multiple ways that you can do them. So what I like to do the most is I like to do these slow shove-its, slow flips and so on. But you can also add some variations to them. So for example, I want to do a switch flip right now. I always do them with this small shifty. So if you intend to do a backside flip and then pull your left stick back into the direction where you came from, you can do like this small variations, and you have this small reverts in them. Like that, you can have very smooth and clean steezy flips that look really nice. And when you combine all of these things together, you can have like this realistic play style also with the slow flips. It just looks really nice because the animations of the flip tricks, when you do them slow, are really good in Skate. They look super nice. And when you combine all of these things with the right settings, you get a very smooth and steezy gameplay. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video and I could help you out with this realistic skate settings. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video and follow me on Twitch for more live streams in the future. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.